Now, single-person households and the elderly will be the most common forms of family in Korea by the year 2050 on the back of the rapidly aging population and the nuclearization of the nation's family structure. At the same time, the supply of houses will continue to increase, potentially hitting the nation with an empty house crisis similar to the one in Japan. Hye-sung has the details.
Nearly 4 in 10 Korean households will be single-person in just over 3 decades. According to a report based on Statistic Korea's demographic data, 35% of the nation's population will be living alone by 2050. In fact, one-person households have become the most common type of household in the country in the past year. The report says the number of single-person households will increase from 5.2 million, or 27% of all households nationwide in 2015, to 7.6 million, or 35% in 2050. Meanwhile, the four-person household is expected to decrease from 19% in 2015 to 13% in 2050. Korea's elderly population, or people 65 and older, will increase more than threefold between 2010 and 2050 due to the consistent nuclearization of the nation's family structure. The total number of households is expected to peak at over 22 million in 2030 and begin to wane again by 2050. Meanwhile, the number of housing units in Korea is forecast to rise to nearly 30 million by 2050. The nation's housing supply rate is expected to jump from 101% in 2010 to 140% in 2050. The report says the coming housing oversupply calls for preparations against a potential empty house crisis, which is already a social issue in Japan. Hye-sung, Arirang News.